Hey everyone, welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining me for my review of episode 10, 11, and 12, the season finale of season 2 of The Legend of Vox Machina. This season has been absolutely fantastic from the beginning, and I've been hoping that these last 3 episodes hold up to how great the season has been so far, but did it? That's what I'm going to break down when I break down the good and the bad of these 3 episodes. Before I get into that, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified by other reviews, reactions, ranking lists, and live discussions. Now let's start with the good. I'm going to start with episode 10. We see the continuation of Grog's fight and challenge to his uncle Kevdak for the control of the herd. And even though Grog is weakened, smaller, and not as strong as he was before in the previous, he still challenges him, and this fight was brutal. Brutal. Some of the most brutal things in choreographed fights that we had in the season so far, especially when Kevdak got the advantage and put him through despair. Oh man, the way they show that, it poking through his stomach and then finally pushing through, I was like, whoa. Sometimes I forget how brutal this show can be because it's so jokey sometimes, and not every moment of battle is that bad, but it really reminded me there, and it was perfect for this blood feud that these two had. And of course, Pike and Scanlan getting involved and try to save him, but they are outnumbered and overpowered, and Kevdak threatens to squash Pike. And we all know that is a bad thing for anyone that's going to do that, because how tight Grog and Pike are. He sees the teacher from early in the season, asking him again, what is your strength? What is your strength? Where does it derive from? Where does that rage derive from? And we finally get the answer, and his rage comes from him wanting to protect his friends. And even though that's like a really cliche thing, like some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, power of friendship, I really enjoyed the way it was presented, because they showed the past, how small Grog kind of was when he was part of the herd in the first place, and how unsure he was of what he was doing and who he was fighting with. And we see how big and strong and confident he is when he's with Vox Machina. They bring the best out of him, and that's why he's able to become the bigger Grog in this fight and kind of compete with his uncle a little bit. But what I really enjoyed and liked is that he didn't just become super strong and was able to defeat Kevdak by himself. Kevdak gained the advantage back again, and it took the might of the rest of the Vox Machina coming in for the save and taking down Kevdak together. And with that teamwork, which is always so choreographed really well, we see Grog take his uncle's axe and chop him in half, and it was so satisfying. It was finally good to see this a-hole get what he deserved, and to see Grog finally get that chip off his shoulder and really prove himself to his people. I really thought that everything involved with that, especially after with him giving his basically his cousin the leadership of the herd, saying that, this is not mine. You are more honorable than your father will be, and you'll lead them to a better path. I thought all that was really great, even though it ends up not really mattering later on, but we'll talk about that. But it was just really a good feeling to see Vox Machina get an advantage, to have a Podzinov in a battle. They have another vestige of the Titan Knuckles, now owned by Grog, and they have the herd on their side. Get into episode 11. So this was a great bridge between 10 and 12. It sets up Scanlan finding out that Kaylee is actually his daughter, which led to like a really weird moment. I was confused and afraid, just like Han Solo was in Star Wars with Luke and Leia. But this revelation helped Scanlan realize all the things that he was doing, all the dirt he was doing to all these women, and just being a coward that ran away when things got hard. And it really set him up for his story arc that's been kind of playing throughout a little bit throughout this season, and especially how it plays out in the final episode as well. I really saw where it was going, and I really liked that he was asking for advice from his friends because he trusted him. A lot of this season, I should say, was them trusting each other more. In season 1, you could see that they were kind of like partners. We work together because we have skill sets. But in this season, you can see that they're becoming more closer friends amongst the group themselves and having deeper conversations about things and be able to trust each other. I thought that this was really highlighted when Vax and Scanlan were really trying to figure out what they were going to do moving forward. And even though two very different situations, were able to have that great conversation. Speaking of Vax, he finally confronts the Matron of Ravens in one of the most beautiful moments inside of this show. he decides to go to the tower where the Matron Ravens is. He tells Vex that he's got to do this on his own. He tells Caliph that he has to do this on his own. He appreciates them being supportive, but he has to take this journey on his own. And a lot of what was going on in season 1 and season 2 was the connection between Vax and Vex and how they were so dependent on each other. But now they both have started trying to find out their individuality and their strengths in themselves, which I thought was really great. And him going in there, confronting it on his own, diving into that blood and just giving into his destiny and believing in his thoughts and what is going on and his conversation with Scanlan, and then him going into this realm and meeting the Raven and how beautiful all that was, and the conversation they had about what his purpose in the world is, how she's been watching them for so long. I thought all that was fantastic, and I was really invested and absorbed by all of that. And the episode ends with the herd, Vox Machina, planning to trap Umbrasyl, the acid dragon, because they know he's going to come for his offering, and they almost do it, but unfortunately it ends in disaster. A lot of the storm herd gets killed with the acid, and one of the funniest moments and craziest moments in the show, Scanlan and Vax pull off an Ant-Man and go through Umbrasyl's butthole and try to take him out from the inside out. I could not believe they pulled that off, but it was so hilarious how detailed and gross it was. Oh my God, it had me in tears. Now let's get into episode 12. So episode 12, we have Vex and Scanlan inside of Umbrasyl, who's now escaping away. He found his way out of the trap. He took out a lot of the members. Grog is trying to make sure that he can get his friends back. It's on his hide in the air, and we see this struggle that injures Grog severely, and Vex and Scanlan get away by the skin of their teeth. As Umbrasyl goes into the mountain where he came from to heal his wounds, the Vox Machina and the team are deciding, what should we do? Should we go in there and fight him while he's wounded, or should we go get reinforcements? And Vax, who believes in fate and destiny now, feels like this is the only chance they're going to have to take this guy down. They have to push forward. If they run away now, it's something that they're always going to do, and they're not going to be able to get an advantage. He already took 2 of the vestiges. We have to get them back and fight them. And it's an internal conflict. Most of the people are on Vax's side, but obviously Scanlan still dealing with his cowardice and how he just feels like it's just too much. He's going along with it, but you can see that he's scared and does not want to do it. But Vex convinces the group, and this turns into one of the best fights of the series so far, as the team is struggling to try to take down Umbrasyl. And this was a great juxtaposition to season 1, because in season 1 they stumbled into a dragon and fumbled their way to victory in that fight. And it was great to see the character growth, not only in their determination and how they were helping one another and protecting each other, but also their power-ups and how they were well more prepared to fight a dragon and fight them head on and not just fumble through their through the fight. They still weren't like overpowered to the point where they just took out Umbrasyl, because I really thought that Umbrasyl was going to kill everybody, but it showed that they had such growth in their character set, how serious they were. There wasn't really a bunch of jokes being displayed during this fight. It was just full out action and trying to survive. And with Vox Machina, most of the group injured, hurt, and on the ropes, with Umbrasyl looking like he's going to take them all out. Scanlan, who hasn't been getting into the fight at this point, was almost running away, finally realizes his character arc, finally realizes how powerful and how great he is, and sneaks on to Umbrasyl, gets the Myth Carver, and completely destroy him on his own, which was one of the most cathartic deaths I've seen in this show so far. I was so happy to see him get destroyed. I was so hyped. I was just so into it. I wanted to be in there. I was like, tag me in, coach. But obviously, I would have died in 2 seconds. But I was this fight and all the fights in all these episodes were so well done. This is some of the best action and animation, or even live action, that we're seeing in a show. And I was really excited to get all this in these 3 episodes. It really paid off everything that's been going on in this season. Let's get into my verdict. So I'm going to just skip the bad section because I have no complaints for these 3 episodes. They were a perfect ending to this season. They left us off with a cliffhanger again to set up season 3 and to give us even more to think about, introducing more antagonists that are possibly to come, someone that you thought was an antagonist that might be an ally, and just getting really excited, and all the theories that could be going on with what's going to happen. We still have that human that was with Umbersoul, and we're not sure what her deal is and what she's doing. So I'm pretty sure she's going to be more in play in the next season as well. But when it comes to this particular season, these 3 episodes are great, but the whole season was great. We got really great character growth, really great action, and some absurd, outlandish comedy that always had me dying. In the season 1, I always thought that the comedy was a little bit too much and it undercut some of the serious moments, but they really found a way to balance it and combine them at points to really create a great experience that's unique to this show itself. I think this season leveled up this series to the levels of something like Castlevania and Arcane, and I'm really excited for more people to find out and check out this show. And with that said, I'm going to give these 3 episodes and the season in total an A. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate season 2 of The Legend of Vox Machina? How did you feel about these final 3 episodes? Did you feel like you were left wanting more? Are you excited to wait for the season 3 or want it right now? Let me know all those thoughts down below. Any theories that you have, anything that you can say about Easter eggs. I know a lot of people know stuff from the Critical Role play that, and you guys been dropping comments and letting me know stuff like that. You can drop all that stuff now that I've seen the whole season in the comments below. Like the video if you like my review, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, ranking lists, and live discussions. And you can watch more of my content right now.